Zoom calls, Google Meets, live streaming, they've all become the norm these days, but do we really have to look so grainy and double chinny? No, of course not. And by watching this video, you'll go from looking not so good to good, better, and even the best looking person on your next remote call. So keep watching. When it comes to using a laptop or a Chromebook, there's 3 things that we want to do to make sure we look good with the webcam that's built into the actual computer. So number 1, you want to position yourself so you are in front of a window. So we're not talking about direct sunlight here. We're talking about ambient light in front of a window during the daytime. And preferably you don't want light coming in from behind you. You want it all coming towards your face. Now, if your meetings are not during the daytime or you just can't find a place where you can set up in front of a window, then try this Lume Cube broadcast lighting kit. I'll put a link down in the description to this. The second thing you want to do is make sure that you're not too far away from the laptop itself. You have to remember that there's a microphone in this equation as well. So if you're too far away from the computer and the webcam, then you're not going to look so great. Plus, the people on your meeting aren't going to be able to hear you. And we'll talk more about audio and microphones in just a moment. And the third thing, this is a really big deal. If you don't listen to the other 2 things I just mentioned, make sure you listen to this. Raise the laptop up and tilt the camera down at you slightly. The actual webcam should be about level or just above your forehead and angled just slightly down to your face. I think the easiest thing to do is grab a stack of books, use boxes, really anything you can find to prop your laptop up. The people on your call aren't going to know that your laptop is, teetering on cereal boxes. So while you're playing with the height and the angle of your webcam, just take a look at where you actually show up in your frame. In this video that you're watching right here, you can see that my eyes are about level with the line that is about 1/3 of the way down from the top. If you're too close to your webcam, then your face might actually look a little bit distorted and you kind of look like a head in a box. So if you want to upgrade your camera look even more, consider investing in an external webcam like the Logitech C920 or the Logitech Brio. Now, these are great because they're going to have much better camera quality than what you get with a built-in webcam. Plus, they're external. You just plug it in with a USB. You can use it with pretty much any computer that you can connect it to, and you can move it around. So you don't have to have it mounted on top of your laptop or your monitor. You can use a tripod to get the right look that you're going for. So now you know how to look good with your built-in webcam, how to look better with an external webcam. How about looking absolutely amazing for your Zoom calls and remote meetings? Are you up for that? Of course you are. Check this out. So here's what you're going to need. A mirrorless or DSLR camera like this mirrorless Canon M50 Mark II. Make sure it's the Mark II, not the original M50. Grab it with the kit lens, which is a 15 to 45 millimeter. If you don't have a tripod, you're gonna need one of those as well. And if you don't have a window to sit in front of, just pick up a box light. They're inexpensive on Amazon. Pick up an HDMI capture card. This allows you to seamlessly stream the camera as a webcam without needing any special software. I don't know much about other manufacturers, but I know that with a mirrorless Canon like this one, you need that capture card in order to use the camera with a program like Zoom. You're also going to need the HDMI to micro HDMI cable, as well as the USB to micro USB cable for the M50 Mark II. Position yourself about an arm's length from the camera and position the light behind the camera angled down at you. And remember the angles that you learned with the built-in webcam. You want your camera to be at about level with your forehead, a little bit higher maybe, and then angled down at you slightly. Now, before you connect your camera to your computer, you're going to want to adjust the camera settings. The camera settings are going to make or break this setup. So first of all, make sure you're in video mode. It looks like the movie camera on the dial. Open the menu. Under shooting mode, choose manual. That's the one with the M. Under record quality, choose FHD 29.97. That's 1080p 30 frames per second. That's pretty standard. Now head over to the HDMI info display. For regular shooting, the default will be with info, but if you're live streaming, Zooming, Google Meeting with a capture card, you're going to want to select clean FHD output. Download the Canon utility software through Canon's website. You can turn your camera on. It should connect to the EOS M50 M2 and then select remote shooting. You're going to get a window with some settings over here. Choose live video shoot down there at the bottom and you'll be able to see yourself on the screen in real time. This is how you'll look to the other members of your remote meeting. For your shooting settings over here, you want to bring the f-stop down to the lowest number that you can. It should be f3.5. If you don't see 3.5, check your lens. Make sure it's at the 15mm focal length. Set your shutter speed to 60. Bring your ISO down to 100. See how you look and then bring the ISO up incrementally until you look fantastic. You can hover your mouse over this shutter button here on the screen to check your exposure scale, and you want that dot to be right about in the middle. If you want good audio too, invest in an external mic like this Audio-Technica ATR 2100. Now, it's hard to outdo a real camera with great lighting and upgraded audio for your live streamings and remote meetings. But there's one thing that you could add to this equation really easily to up-level your look, and that's with this guy. So this is going to give you a nice blurred background, which is perfect if you have a small space. This is the Sigma 16mm f1.4 lens. This can replace the kit lens on the M50 Mark II. You just switch it out. This lens runs about $400, which is affordable as far as nice lenses go. So when you pair the Sigma with the Canon M50 Mark II, which is an affordable entry-level, like enthusiast level camera, you really get the look of a more high-priced setup. Two final thoughts. The M50 Mark II is on back order with a lot of retailers. Now remember, it's the M50 Mark II, not the original M50. So if you can't get your hands on one, I recommend picking up the M6 Mark II. You can use that same Sigma lens, and pretty much all of the settings and everything I walked you through today applies to the M6 Mark II. And lastly, in this video, you learned how to go from grainy and double chinny to looking good, looking better, and even amazing on a webcam. And in the next video, you're gonna pick up some little known tips for being a little less awkward, a little more professional in your Zoom calls and remote meetings.